are actually champions. What do you know?
The stories of their demise were a little premature. 40-point double-double last night from Nikolai Jokic as he collected his MVP trophy, and the Nuggets now have taken the lead back in that series. We'll talk a little bit about that. There was some hockey last night, actually a pretty good matchup between Boston and Florida as Boston won to keep that series alive, and much to the same thing. It's kind of right now, the 10 o'clock, the 10:30 sports, Preston, they are the highlights because I'm trying to get into the hockey, or I'm into the hockey. Vancouver and Edmonton has actually been a good series, and Edmonton pulls out the win last night, even that series 3-2. They've been good. I'm blanking on who the star is there for the Oilers real quick, but that has been a very fun series to follow as well. Connor McDavid, the big guy there in that one, and it was a fun night, but you know what? As crazy as it had been, might have been an even more fun night in the WNBA with the debut of Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson celebrating her new shoe by just doing A'ja things and dominating.
MVPs are MVPs for a reason. It's really, really simple. Even if you didn't stay up to watch the second game, all you needed to watch was the first quarter. He's like, oh, who's the best? Oh, she's the best player on the court. Let's just say you were one of those folks who was like, oh, I'm going to tune into the W for the first time in my life. Who's she? Because she has a lot of points. Even if I don't know anything about basketball, she's really good.
Really good.
That's all you needed to know.
Yeah, all you had to catch was the first quarter. That's all that mattered. 17 points for A'ja Wilson in the first quarter, 30 points when the night ended, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 10-22 shooting for her as the Las Vegas Aces got going last night in the WNBA. And then, of course, Caitlin Clark. Well, she made her debut, and it probably could have gone better. 5 of 15 from the field, 4 of 11 from three-point range, did hit 6 free throws, and she finished with a team-high 20 points. She did finish with a team-high 20 points. Preston Thorne, not such a good night for teammate, former Gamecock Aaliyah Boston, just 2 of 6, only scored 4 points in that contest. We'll talk more about that this morning.
That's because her braids were tucked into her jersey.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough business. Can't do that.
I noticed that. I was like, she has a hunchback or something, and I'm like, wait, where's all of her hair? And it looked like her braids were tucked in, so I thought, it's going to mess up her flow.
You don't want to do that the first game of the year.
Not the way to start. Yeah, we'll get into all that. We will break that down as well. Of course, get you ready a little bit for some baseball. South Carolina, Tennessee, about a day away, and we'll talk a little bit about that this morning. But it was a pretty interesting night across the board there professionally, as we just mentioned, NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs, WNBA getting underway. Anything in particular that caught your attention last night?
Yes. Jalen Brunson, what's happening here? What's going on? I mean, also I'm forming a theory. Jay Wright, overrated?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm just saying.
Because he didn't win enough, or because he had good players? Where are we going with this?
I mean,
don't.
A lot of NBA guys on that championship roster. That's all I'm saying. A lot of NBA guys on that roster.
He had a good.
That's all I'm saying.
They
were pretty. Come to find out, those dudes were pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, Jalen Brunson last night going for 40, gets 44 again. And yes, if you haven't followed the NBA and you're like, wait, I thought Jalen Brunson was just a backup player for the Villanova Wildcats. No, it turns out he was a stud. He's been a stud, and he's making things happen. And it really is fun when Madison Square Garden is kind of rocking. That's an entertaining venue to get into, and that's good for them last night. One other thing, tomorrow morning, and I'm not sure where I want to go with this just yet. We've got the audio, but tomorrow morning the PGA Championship will get going at Valhalla over in Louisville, Kentucky. And yesterday, Tiger Woods took the mic, talked a little bit about it. It's been 24 years since his epic duel with Bob May at Valhalla there that went to the playoffs, had some memorable highlights, had some ones that are still shown today. Tiger was looking a little spry yesterday, but he was sporting a goatee, Preston Thorne. Mm-hmm. He was sporting a goatee. And when asked about it, whether it was something new or just laziness, he claimed it was laziness. Just he was too lazy, and then he claimed he cut himself shaving. where do we stand with the goatee these days in sports?
The goatee is a statement piece, obviously. I have worn a goatee at a point in my life. All of those are possible options. However, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I will play you the audio
Okay.
of
I haven't
Tiger
heard the audio,
Woods,
so I'm excited to hear
and
this.
I'm interested in where do we stand? 803-404-6100 on the goatee. Like, you're right. I've had one before. Now we're just two bearded guys wandering around here. Both of us have got the beards going on. Neither of them are exceptionally long. Preston's a little bit longer than us. You can always tune into our live stream. You go to our live stream where you can go to the Game TV radio, and you can see what exactly we look like. If you're like, I need to check out these beards. But yes, Tiger Woods rocking the goatee, which I feel like he had before, and I feel like it was the goatee that he came back with, and that was when I was like, Tiger's aging. Tiger's turning a corner on the on the age thing there, but we'll get into that a little bit. A lot to do this morning. 803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry wants to weigh in. Gamecock Larry, how you feeling? What's on your mind this morning?
Hey, just fine. Got my final report on my leg today. Boy, I hope I get a good one, but if I don't. But, Bill, I got a question to ask you now. Let me get this right now. You listen to me. I think I heard you say yesterday in 15 games against the top 10 teams, we were 5-10. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, correct.
I think, okay. How many games have we lost this season?
18.
Baseball.
18.
18?
18. 33 and 18.
We got it. Well, 18. We tell you what? Well, man, we get. Oh, I don't know. Okay, but anyway, man. 5-10 against the top 10, and 18. No, 8 and something. Okay, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we got to do something. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'm just gonna sit back here and hope, and I hope we do okay. But that's all I got to say. I love all y'all. Talk to you later. Keep me in your prayers. Let me get a good report today. Keep me in your prayers. Love all y'all. Go Gamecocks.
Solid. Sometimes
He's a statistician.
sometimes the numbers don't really get to where you're trying to go, and you got to kind of like readjust.
But I like that he's really trying to work the numbers.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure them out.
Yeah, it was definitely calculations. It's early. It's tough to do calculations.
The problem with that is I think he spent 23 and a half hours coming up with something that he was very confident in. And all of a sudden, like you said, the numbers didn't.
Yeah,
the numbers didn't number.
Sometimes the numbers kind of
Numbers didn't quite get to where he was going. That's all right. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in this morning. We'll get into that. Preston says Nick Harbor's got a decision to make.
got to make a choice.
We will get into. We'll get
We've
into
been
that.
talking about this time and this thing off in the distance is here. He has to make a choice very soon.
We will let Preston get into this here as we roll along. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. Jacob, the Mortgage Guru in this market. And right now, if you're thinking about purchasing a new home, if you're thinking about refinancing, if you're thinking about building a home, it's time to see what First Palmetto Bank and the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder, can do for you. I know for a fact what Jacob can do. Just a few years ago, he helped me, found a great interest rate, made sure all the paperwork got through. And you know what? With First Palmetto Bank, who's locally owned and operated right here in the Midlands, they can do a phenomenal job. He's got local decision makers, which means quick and precise underwriting. So again, if you're looking to buy, refinance, or even build a home, now is the time to contact the Mortgage Guru. 803-719-1005. That's how you can get in touch with him as we roll into the middle half of the year. You might be thinking about what you're doing on the back half. Start by calling the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. 803-719-1005.
And hoping for a little bit better traffic conditions this morning than we had yesterday. We do have 2 accidents to let you know about. I-20 westbound at Longs Pond Road. Also I-26 eastbound right there at I-77 exit 116. But we are seeing a little bit of rain this morning and a possibility for a couple showers this morning and then sort of cloudy today. Might see some showers or thunderstorms again later in the afternoon. High of 84 today, 85 tomorrow. The return of showers on Friday and a high of 85. Maybe some showers and storms come Saturday as well. So kind of getting into a pattern of maybe some showers and storms here and there. Right now, it's cloudy, 65 on the early game. 'Game. 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 'Game
The goatee only looks good on big guys and guys that coach big guys.
Like it.
When you see a coach sporting a goatee, mock turtleneck, and a dip, you know he's a line coach. It's from Charles.
Like that profile.
Mike weighed in and said, Mike, this is Mike, not Bill Gunner. This is Mike on our text line. I've said for years, after the escort controversy, Tiger should have come back with a goatee as evil Tiger and had multiple women waiting for him on the 18th green at every tournament.
If Tiger was going to go for it, he might as well wait for it, man. Make that career turn and just do it.
I will say on Friends, Matthew Perry had that, was it the second season? And, he did the goatee thing, but he was so thin, which now we know, looking back, it was probably drugs and whatever. But that goatee, he could not rock that. I thought that was a terrible look for him.
Didn't work for him.
Jen and I could do a Friends podcast, and maybe one day when we actually get all of this straight around here, we will. But the Matthew Perry saga, like now that we know more about Matthew Perry, and to rewatch, I think it's on TBS, all the seasons.
And Nickelodeon.
And Nickelodeon. But to see like Matthew Perry every season, it is interesting to now kind of understand what he was going through maybe that season.
Yes, and the idea that Friends is on Nick at Night, again, another dagger in my heart.
Right,
because
I'm sure.
when I grew up, I Love Lucy was on Nick at Night, and now Friends is on.
It's unfortunate. It's Friends.
That's rough.
It's Friends. It's Everybody Loves Raymond, and it's King of Queens.
Mm-hmm.
Which, painful.
Yeah,
that's rough.
It really is. But
Hey.
Hey, kids, look at these old shows.
Yeah, right? Yeah. They kind of hurt. I saw Chris Pine on Kelly Clarkson yesterday and was just kind of flipping through, and I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, what has he done to, like, he's sporting some type of nomad look or something. It's kind of odd. But anyway, he made mention of something about the Princess Diaries movies with Anne Hathaway. And he's like, well, yeah, that's been like 20 years ago. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's just.
Sneaks up on you.
It does.
803-404-6100. I tell you what, Jen, let's do this. This is Shane Beamer last night's cut 19. This is Shane Beamer's comments on the new wide receiver. South Carolina is trying to rebuild this wide receiver room. One of those guys is Nick Harbor, and Preston's got a comment about that. But let's listen. This is Shane Beamer last night in Spartanburg at the Welcome Home Tour, cut 19. His comments on the new wide receivers.
Added depth for one. Guys that have, with Dale Vaughn, he's a guy that has played a lot of football, been very productive as a player. We were looking after spring practice to trying to add a little bit more size to that room. He's a big receiver as well, and he'll certainly help us there. And just being a veteran guy. And then with Vandravius, he's a guy that highly recruited to come out of high school, and he can run. And that's what we like. He's still young, like the fact that he's still got 4 more years of college as well, and really all we know about him right now is talking to high school coaches, talking to their coaches where they came from, spending time with them when they came in on a visit, watching their tape that they had going into this season. But we'll find out even more about them once they get on campus. But 2 great young men that really enjoyed visiting with when they were here on visits, and excited about how they can just continue to add to the overall depth and competition in that receiver room.
One of those guys that you're hoping creates depth and competition is Nick Harbor. Preston, we kind of talked about it when you and I heard Shane Beamer at the beginning, I think, of spring practice basically say, well, Nick will be out here doing mental reps, getting mental reps. Both of us went, that's bad. That's not good, because that's good to get mental reps. But Nick Harbor needs to learn to play the position, and the way you learn to play the position is to go out and physically go through it, to get hit, to work on your footwork, to work on your timing. He didn't really do that this spring, and he's excelling in track right now, which now brings you to the point of it, even though it's early, because of what his true aspirations are in track, which is not just to be really good at it, it's to be one of the greatest of all time, to go run in the Olympics. You contend that, boy, might be time to some tough decisions may have to be made.
There might be a tough decision that needs to be made, and it's coming very soon. The Olympics is this summer. Football camp starts on August 2nd. The Olympics will run from July 26th through August 11th. So there's already immediate scheduling conflict if the Olympics wasn't possible. However, right now the Olympics is not a possibility. And you say the word excelling in track, and this is where it gets really interesting because he is excelling for himself. He set a personal best this past weekend at 20.47 non-wind assisted in the 200 meters. A personal best. However, that was good enough to finish 8th in the SEC. There's the conflict. He set a personal best at 20.47, which he ran in the qualifying race. In the actual final race, he ran a 20.55. The best race, the number one person ran a 19.75. In track, he's almost a second behind the number one person in his heat. So when we say excelling, yes, he is excelling for himself personally, but he is not the measuring stick as far as getting to the Olympics. So there are 4 people in the SEC alone who have already ran qualifying times for Olympics. Nick has not to this point. And so that's why I'm saying he's at a point where he's going to have to and here's the shocking part. I think it might actually be easier for him to dedicate himself to getting better at football than maybe making this big of a jump in track immediately. I don't know if the Olympics is an actual real possibility. Yes, he may come out and perform some inhuman feat that he hasn't done before, but there's some dudes that can really run, and the Olympics is difficult. And so we were having this conversation about, oh yeah, he's going to go in the Olympics, right? It's like y'all know the Olympics is very difficult to qualify for. So he's at a crossroads early in his career, in my opinion.
I don't know this for a fact. I think it's what I've gathered. I think the goal for the Olympics is legitimately, though, for Nick Harper is in 4 years. Like, this is kind of so he's got 4 years. So I was never under the impression that this was the year that he, obviously if he qualifies, and that's awesome. But he's looking at when he's roughly 22, 23, kind of in the prime. That is when you're in prime. I would be interested. You said 4 other guys have qualified, and there was a guy second ahead of him. Unfortunately, because of these COVID years, and because like we just saw Jermaine Cousinard, we have segments where you have to yell, "Check the birth certificate."
Check his birth certificate.
I don't know if there's a difference there. He's got time. I think the big question though is the football thing. Like, you're right. It's not like it's impossible to do both, but from a guy who physically does have all the measures. He's got everything about him. I mean, he is a good athlete. He's a really, really good athlete. This isn't, a giraffe on skates out there running around. But he does have to learn how to play the position. Preston, you've seen it. You've grown up around it. Guys that were just the best athletes in high school, but they got by on just being athletic. And then they go to college, and all of a sudden that athleticism is matched by a whole bunch of other athletic dudes who are a little bit more refined and a little more skilled.
Yeah, absolutely. So, to go in the Wayback Machine, we had an example as Terrence Trammell, Olympian. Mm-hmm. He was a guy who was a track guy first, but he also played football in high school. And there was always some conversations about whether or not he would come out and play football. And he was somebody who was willing and had already played and had decent skills. But the level of specialization that you need to make it to the Olympics, it's going to be very difficult to make it to Olympics with it being a part-time focus, or you splitting time between that and another sport. So he's going to have to really decide if the Olympics is his thing. I think August is probably out of the picture, realistically, just looking at the times. And that's the cool thing about track is no objectivity. Either you beat the clock or you don't. So August seems to be a little bit out of the picture for him. But if we're talking 2028 in 4 years, he's probably going to have to dedicate himself very strongly in order to make the team in that 4 years.
I'm thinking, you mentioned Terrence Trammell. I forgot about him. I always go back to a guy, I think he played with you right around your Shy Mays.
Shy was a little bit after me, I believe.
Okay, all right. The only reason I remember that is because I remember being in a flag football game, like, kind of a younger group of flag football guys. We played out at Irmo High School. Again, this was probably 20 years-ish, 20, even more than that. And Shy trotted out to his wide receiver position and took one look at me. and just started tapping his head to his quarterback. and I couldn't before the snap, couldn't turn and run fast enough.
There was no backing up enough. There was not enough cushion.
And as he ran by me, I just latched on.
Smart move.
and
also during that time, Corey Taylor was on the track team, and he was another guy who always flirted with the idea of playing football, but for them to dedicate themselves, and again, those track teams were really good during that time period, and I know they're off the radar. Track team has some work to do. Finished 10th on both sides in the SEC. That's when we talk about traditions. Talk about baseball being a traditional powerhouse for this university. The track team has always been a traditional powerhouse, and both teams, the men and women's, finished 10th. So can't escape us. We have to look at that too.
803-404-6100. Rich weighs in, says a goatee has no mustache. Yes or no? You agree with that?
I cannot wear that.
Yeah, just the three.
Ooh, that's a choice. That's a choice.
We will.
I actually had never considered that.
The Genevieve, is that the goatee? The goatee with no mustache?
And to me, it's not a goatee.
It's got goatee's got to go all the way around.
I think so. I don't. I'm not a beard expert.
Well, we'll let you listen to a little bit of Tiger Woods coming up in the next segment. We'll get into A'ja Wilson as well. Big night for A'ja in the WNBA. Talk a little bit about that. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It is the early game.
Preston here. Let me tell you about my friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with your insurance company to take away the headache. Yes, they will come out to wherever you are. School, home, work, it does not matter. Absolute Glass will come out to you. If you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows and mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. I say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
I-20 westbound at Longs Pond Road. We have a report of an accident there. Also, I-26 eastbound at I-77. So be careful out there this morning. Could be a little bit of standing water from some of the rain and storms we had overnight. A few storms possible yet today, maybe a couple late this morning, and then later this afternoon into this evening. High of 84, 85 on Thursday, and then the chance of showers returning on Friday, and kind of off and on scattered showers for the weekend as well. And we're looking for highs in the low 80s, but it's overcast right now, and it's 65 on the early game.
Baseball starting tomorrow at Tennessee, 6:15 pregame right here. 107.5 The Game, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. 6:15 pregame, 6:30 first pitch. That'll be tomorrow. Friday is a 6:15 pregame, 6:30 first pitch, and Saturday will be a 12:45 pregame, 1 o'clock first pitch. And that reminds me to tell you, go to 1075thegame.com and register for the Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. Right now, $1,275 is in the pot, and you can win it all if you're registered. But you got to go to 1075thegame.com and get registered. And if a South Carolina batter hits a grand slam, you can win all the cash in the pot. Right now, $1,275. You can win it all if a South Carolina batter will hit a grand slam. Hasn't happened yet. Just go to 1075thegame.com and register. The Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. 803-404-6100. PGA Championship gets going tomorrow. Valhalla Country Club up in Louisville, Kentucky. Yesterday, Tiger Woods, all of them talking, a lot of people talking yesterday. John Rahm talking, he was pretty interesting. Max Homa talking a little bit, but Tiger Woods talking about being back, feeling how his body felt. One of the things he talked about, Preston Thorne, he was asked about his facial hair. And this is Tiger Woods' response about why he is currently sporting a goatee.
The internet is loving the goatee. Was that a conscious choice or laziness, and is it here all week?
It's the second. I'm definitely lazy. So I cut myself this morning trying to trim it up. So it is what it is.
Finish with it is what it is.
Cut myself this morning trying to trim it up.
Wait. There's a discrepancy in that. You cut yourself trying to trim it up, or did you cut yourself trying to shave it off? What were you doing? Because if you were just trying to trim it up, that means it wasn't laziness, it was a choice, right?
Yeah, right.
Isn't there more sculpting involved in
Yes.
that as opposed to like regular shaving? So wouldn't that be more of a conscious choice?
I feel like we're on Tiger. Come forth and tell the whole truth, sir.
Tiger. I think he likes the goatee.
Yeah. Just saying, I like it, man.
Yeah.
This is me.
And this felt like Tiger back in the mid 2000s. Although this with a laugh, that Tiger in the mid 2000s would have said it with a straight face, and then moved on to the next question. This Tiger said it with a bit of a laugh. But yeah, I don't think you can be lazy and have a goatee.
That's what I was thinking. Again, I've never grown one, so I don't know.
Wise choice.
I don't think it'd match my eyes.
Is the goatee that's a good point. I can see where that comes into play. As someone who cares deeply about the color of their eyes and how it lines up with my outfits, I totally understand. The goatee though, that's a conscientious choice. You rock that and you believe in it, right?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, that's the thing. I know for me personally, mine was a personal act of rebellion after Lou Holtz told us we couldn't have any facial hair. I said, oh, yeah? This spring, I'm going to wear a goatee, sir, for the spring until you make us cut it off in the fall.
Until you came back for the football season.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was me. That was my personal act of rebellion.
If you want to weigh in. I do think it does make Tiger, if you go pull the picture from yesterday, I think it does make Tiger look a little younger. I think he sees it as a
Now, is that with the hat or without the hat?
He had the hat.
Because we have to Tiger has to figure out the hair situation.
Yeah.
He's going to have to figure something out. Well, there's a phrase we bald folks like to say, it's time for Tiger to come home. Come on home.
Just give it. I don't think he's going to be ready to do that anytime
I think he can pull it off. He just need to just do it and just come on home. Every one of us who is here has to make that decision at some point, and I feel like, Tiger, you need to go ahead and come on home.
There you go. Well, we'll keep.
We welcome you. We will embrace you.
Keep on that. Where do you stand on the goatee? 803-404-6100.
And doesn't it make sense for him to have a goatee because goat is in the name? So
look at you.
Just think.
You brought your A game this morning. You were really on fire. Much like Asia Wilson was last night. Yes,
another goat.
You like that. Asia Wilson last night, absolutely fantastic in the first quarter. Came out of the gates just firing away for the Las Vegas Aces. And you've really been on top of it more lately with what she has done with her career. And we always look at Dawn Staley and what she did at Virginia, what she did in the Olympics and everything. And Asia is walking that path and then some. And you mentioned it, back-to-back MVPs. Last night in the Las Vegas Aces season debut, scored 30 points. That was great, but she had 17 in the first quarter. Not first half, first quarter to set the tone. She finished 10 of 22, 10 of 11 from the foul line, grabbed 13 rebounds, dished out 5 assists, just in case the Phoenix Mercury weren't sure. She also blocked 3 of their shots, just for emphasis. Yeah, Asia Wilson is. I don't even know if we appreciate her in the manner we should.
Yeah, I guess I've just been trying to harp on this idea that we have from right here in Richland County the current GOAT in women's basketball. And I always push this narrative. I always say this. It's super impressive to me when a player who was supposed to be the best actually ends up being the best, because there's such a distance between somebody signing with all the hype that you sign with to actually doing the things that you do in your professional career. LeBron's one of them. Bryce Harper's one. Serena Williams. And I think I add Asia Wilson into that, where this person was supposed to be great, and then they actually ended up becoming great. And that is maybe more impressive than somebody who, the underdog stories are cool, say a Tom Brady or something like that, but the idea of somebody having the pressure of greatness on them from the time they're a young person and being able to live up to those expectations, to me, is fantastic. It's fantastic. And she is currently coming into her prime, and it doesn't look like there's any end in sight for a while.
I always thought Tim Tebow was one. Now, he didn't have the professional career, but the hype that he had going to Florida to be that guy, to win a Heisman, to win 2 national championships. And you're right, you go back, it doesn't feel like it's been that long ago for Asia Wilson. But, I remember her recruitment, and obviously it was South Carolina, Connecticut, and the kind of the intrigue and the excitement around her recruitment, but to come to South Carolina and then to really live up to it. And not that she was the first one, but she's the one that took South Carolina to the level that they really have, that Dawn Staley's put them on now.
Yeah, she changed the game. She changed the game. They were building, and obviously that's the reason why she was going to make that commitment, because there were women there prior who had set a foundation along with Dawn Staley, but you needed somebody to ignite it and take it to the next level. And Asia, again, there's a reason why she has a statue in front of the arena. And I said the other day, her greatest professional flex to me is that she could bring a professional team, take pictures in front of her statue, and then go out there and do what she did on the court that night, and obviously what she'll do that did last night. And here's the deal: the Aces are two-time champions. They're looking to win another one. They have Kelsey Plum, who, by the way, was the NCAA leading scorer before Caitlin Clark broke her record. So they are a very talented team, and it's going to be difficult for the rest of the league to contend with them, along with Becky Harmon, who many people – it's sort of a dream team-ish scenario. Many people were thinking Becky Harmon was going to be the first women's coach in the NBA. She's decided to go coach a champion in the W. And so
there was something I saw a couple months ago, because it's just what happens with Greg Popovich. How long does he hold on? Because remember, Becky Harmon is it Hammond or Harmond?
I think it's.
I thought it was Hammond, but I could
maybe
be wrong.
Hammond, my fault.
But there was a lot of, she was on his staff really, and that's where she came to got the notoriety and everything. She's only 47, and with that being said, there's been a lot of discussion that when Greg Popovich does indeed decide to step away, she is the heir. She is the replacement. It'll be interesting. Again, young, just 47 years of age. Becky Hammon, Hammon is her name. But again, going back to it and living up to the hype. You mentioned LeBron and I saw more video yesterday of him.
Maybe we can get back to that.
I saw more video of him blowing kisses.
For me, oh my gosh.
Yeah. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 1. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It is the early game. 6:48 as we get you up and get you going here. The rain letting up here in the Midlands as it looks like it could be a beautiful day as we hit basically the midway point of May. Jen and Preston, and boy, I apologize. I feel like I have to do this one too many times, but I apologize. I've let both of you down. I've let all of you down. How many days until 100 days till the start of football season?
Bill, 8 days until 100 days. 32 Mondays until Christmas.
We're keeping track. 8 days until 100 days until the start of football season. And another countdown now starting to take place. Countdowns until we find out the official game times of college football. And yesterday we picked up several of those. We picked up several. Now, we did not get South Carolina and Old Dominion just yet. But this is where you start to look. We know it's a home game, obviously, for South Carolina. By the way, this might be a path for later on in the week or later on in the month. And I think you might have brought this up, so I might be second on this. I think I'm kind of ready for South Carolina to go back to the Thursday night openers.
Ooh, okay.
I got tired of them at first, but I think I'm very close to declaring South Carolina needs to get back on the Thursday night and just open on the SEC network so that we can have that Saturday to enjoy all of the games. Because this year it looks like we've got a pretty good slate of Saturday games that we will open up with. ABC and ESPN announcing yesterday that at noon in Atlanta on opening weekend, August 31st, Clemson and Georgia to start.
Big game. Big game. Might have been bigger a couple of years ago, and that's only because I'm not sure what Clemson's actually bringing to the table. We know what Georgia is, but still, I like scheduling the big game pretty early. Opportunity for Clemson to go in there and maybe prove the disrespect that they claim that they get all the time. Go ahead, prove it.
The Vegas early line on that, I believe the last I had caught, had the Bulldogs as a 13.5-point favorite. I think it had gone up initially. That was on FanDuel. So early line there. The 3:30 game on opening Saturday will be Florida and Miami. And that's actually a monster game for both of those two programs, for Mario Cristobal and for Billy Napier. Neither team there, Preston, wants to come out 0-1 and start the season in that manner.
Yeah, that's a huge game. I'm really interested in seeing that. Both programs are very nervous about their futures. Miami might be full of bluster, but they're not very confident. You know, if you poke around a little bit, they're not very confident. And old boring Billy down in Florida, they need something. That would not be a great way to start, is to lose to Miami.
Then the nightcap on the opening Saturday on ABC will be Texas A&M and Notre Dame. First game for Mike Elko to get things going.
Mike Elko, whatever.
I think it's a great hire for Texas A&M.
That's not the point. As a national fan, it's like, all right, cool. We'll see. We'll see what's happening. Yes, great hire on paper. It's probably going to come in there, stabilize it, get rid of some of the crazy that Jimbo had running around there.
It'll be a boring 9-3, 8-4 is what you're saying.
Yes. Yes, which, by the way, as a South Carolina fan, sign me up. Have no problem with that. I'm just saying I want not as much sizzle to that one. But, Bill, I'll tell you where there is some sizzle. You want Thursdays? Mark it down. The end of the prime era.
You think that's the end on August 29th?
Absolutely.
If you don't know what he's talking about, North Dakota State is at Colorado. That will be ESPN's primetime season opener game. That'll be Thursday. That will be the Thursday, August the 29th. ESPN does have a noon Florida State-Georgia Tech game in week 0 that they will get going with. But the usual Thursday night game is North Dakota State at Colorado. And Preston, whatever person made that schedule did not do their research, did not do their homework.
Why would you do that? This is not a team you would play unless they're, I guess this is the modern equivalent. You know, App State is sort of but this is not just App State. This is App State who, for real, is actually winning. And not only do they win, they play a ridiculous brand of football where they line up 3 dudes in the backfield, run power 35 times, and they just try to beat your face in, which obviously Colorado has not very much prepared for a power type of football game. I'm very interested to see how this works. I feel like this will be the beginning of the end.
It very well could. I saw Brad Crawford put out a tweet yesterday that just basically said if they lose that game, is all the air out of the balloon of the Deion Sanders era? Like, is that essentially it?
I like to see him come back, and I mean, he's a great salesman, so I'm sure he'll have some sort of way to spin it. But that'll be difficult because if they do win that game, it'll be a bludgeoning, and they'll get exposed, and that'll be a blueprint for them to get beat the rest of the year.
The other Saturday games that we at least know, well, excuse me, not the other Saturday games, the other opening weekend games that we know of right now, LSU and Southern Cal, that'll be on Sunday, Labor Day Eve. LSU and Southern Cal should be an interesting one there for Brian Kelly. Southern Cal and Lincoln Riley trying to move on from the Caleb Williams era and see if they have anything. Both teams seeing if they have anything that looks like a defense. Just...
That's a good point. The battle of who can play, who can stop, who can get a stop.
Who somehow fixed a defense in the offseason.
First stop wins.
Yeah, and then on Monday night, on Labor Day night, Boston College at Florida State. Kind of crazy that by the end of what is supposed to be the first weekend of college football, again, week 0, then week 1, Florida State could be 2-0 in conference through week 1. Because they get Georgia Tech over in Dublin. That game, they'll actually send College Game Day over there for that. And then College Game Day on opening Saturday, August the 31st, will be at Texas A&M and Notre Dame.
Picking up right where they left off.
Yep.
So they're just going to be like, we're just, minus that Georgia bowl games don't count for them.
Right.
They're just picking up where they left off.
Just there you go. There you go. So a few other ones. By the way, Kalen DeBoer's debut for Alabama will be a 7 o'clock ESPN game against Western Kentucky. I think we're still probably, by the way, a few weeks away from learning South Carolina's start time against Old Dominion. I know nobody's going to like this. Please give us a nooner. Please give us a nooner.
That might be the most controversial thing you said today.
Let's get down there. Let's tailgate. Let's enjoy the game. Let's get back home. That's my way of looking at it. We'll talk a little more about that if you want to weigh in. 803-404-6100. Hour 2 on the way. Bill Gunner for Corley Pool Solutions. It is time for you to make sure your pool is maintained properly. It's that time of year you're going to be wanting to come home, jump in the pool. The kids are getting out of school. They're going to want to relax in it each and every day. But if it's dirty, if you've got issues with it, if it's not operating properly, well, that really takes away the fun of your home. Don't let that happen. Contact Corley Pool Solutions today and line up your summer maintenance. 803-445-8109. All of Corley Pool Solutions techs are certified pool professionals. Tracy, Ashley, Evan, Laurel, you get them out to your house. They will make sure that pool is sparkling and ready to be used this summer. And the best part about Corley Pool Solutions is they have flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. You know exactly what you're paying for, and it's more affordable for you to use Corley Pool Solutions than to try and maintain it yourself. Give them a phone call, 803-445-8109.
Looks to be clearing a little bit out there this morning, and we welcome that. Not quite a sloppy day as we had yesterday, but we do have a couple accidents to let you know about. I-26 eastbound there at exit 102, the left lane is blocked, so that will be slowing things down a little bit. And get right at I-26 eastbound around exit 102. I-20 westbound at Longs Pond Road, exit 51, an accident there. I-26 eastbound at exit 116, right there at I-77. Still working that earlier accident. So do be careful out there this morning. Should be drying off a little bit. Might see another shower here or there. Chances for maybe an afternoon, late afternoon or early evening thunderstorm. 84 for the high today. Sunny and 85 tomorrow. It's overcast, a little bit breezy, 65.
Eight days till 100 days. 8 days till 100 days till the start of college football. So 108 days out, and I may upset many of you for 108 days because I stand by what I said. Give me the nooner for the Old Dominion game. Give me the nooner. Many of you already weighing in on the text line. David weighing in and says, I'm going to stand with Bill on this one. I'd be good with a noon kickoff to get back to watching football games. Eric says noon and then puts question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. Says, you know, the first game is really hot. Bill is crazy.
This is true. Guaranteed 95 plus, easy at noon in August or September, whatever that date is, August 31st, September 1st, whatever. Steaming.
It's time for a lot of y'all to toughen up. Beth from Lamar goes, no, in all caps, no noon games in August or September. It's too hot. If you want to watch other games, stay at home.
And thinking about the players, too. I mean, granted, I know they're supposed to be conditioning and all of that, but, I mean, my gosh, that's hot. And Bill, you don't like to sweat, so why would you want a noon game? Or you don't plan on going out? Is that what it is? Mm-hmm.
I sit in the zone.
This is where he's going to
Okay.
peasants.
Yes. Yes.
How's the weather out there?
So after,
let me in case you have forgotten, because I have not heard the liner this morning. Really all about me.
Well, yeah.
You sit in the press box.
But
You have more air conditioning than I have.
I'm not complaining about the weather either. I mean,
I'm not either.
Fair. But okay, I will say I'm not encouraging a noon game because I know that it's going to be hot for, a majority of the peeps.
I get it. This is an old thing. This is an aging thing. I not for everybody, just for me.
And
just
for
me.
For Bill, he goes on Friday and gets his mani-pedi and maybe a little face, little pedi or a little facial.
Not real sure where this is going.
Yep. So he gets all pretty so that he can go and sit in the zone and do his thing and try to remember the game.
All right. To be perfectly transparent and honest and serious for a second, no, I enjoy the morning tailgate. I mean, look, again, in all honesty, we get up early. We get up, and I'm not saying we are the only ones that get up early on a daily basis, but we get up early. Mm-hmm. If I make it to 7 a.m. now on a Saturday or Sunday or 8 a.m., that is sleeping late. So on a Saturday morning, I have no problem rising at 7:30, getting the car loaded, throwing the kids in the car, and heading on down to Williams-Brice for a nice morning tailgate.
Is that because of the beverage choices?
No, to me, it's nicer. And then I do enjoy getting into the stadium early. There's just something about it. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I enjoy a nice night game.
Yeah.
I get a good night game. But if I'm going to get a good night game, let's line it up for what would be 2 weeks later when LSU comes to town. Mm. Although I'm not real thrilled about a night game with crazy Cajuns, the way those LSU fans tend to act. I've seen some stuff. Yeah. Your game, I saw some stuff. When y'all played them down there, I saw some stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
That was I would have much rather stood by that tiger than dealt with their fans in the stands. But with that being said, I'll debate this. I'm all for going back to the Thursday night home opener. Start the season on a Thursday night. I'd love to see South Carolina push for that. I'm looking real quick that they will not, they can always move games, but just looking ahead, the SEC will start. They have the game already lined up. It'll probably be you've got 2 SEC Thursday nighters to start the season, 2 of them. Arkansas Pine Bluff will take on Arkansas. That one actually, Preston, will be at a stadium you're very familiar with, War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock.
Whoa.
Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Arkansas. And I believe the SEC Network game will be Murray State at Missouri. I believe that's what it will be. So South Carolina will not be playing a Thursday night opener, but I'll kind of stand by that. I'll get on my perch and preach about Thursday night openers or noon opener on Saturday. And I'll take whatever punishment and tomatoes are thrown at me.
Yeah, if I had to go, this with no inside information, I don't think you're going to get. Well, you're not going to get Thursday. Don't think you're going to get a nooner.
I don't think so either.
Don't think it's going to happen for you.
Although, let's just real quick while we do this, I'll give you the SEC slate for opening weekend. I mentioned LSU and Southern Cal will be the Sunday night game, but the SEC slate. This was strange, by the way. This just tells me where we're at. I clicked on SEC, so I've mentioned the 2 Thursday night games: Arkansas Pine Bluff at Arkansas and Murray State at Missouri. And then the next one is the Friday night game, and it's just odd, even though I'm excited and prepared for it. Temple at Oklahoma, and that's an SEC, not an SEC conference game, but the fact that I have to now look at that and see Temple at Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, call me when they play their first SEC game.
Okay.
They're not in the SEC until they play
their first SEC
that
game.
Doesn't count, especially Temple.
SEC games that weekend: Alabama A&M at Auburn, Southern Mississippi at Kentucky, Furman at Mississippi, Eastern Kentucky at Mississippi State, Old Dominion, South Carolina, Chattanooga at Tennessee, Virginia Tech at Vanderbilt. We mentioned Georgia, Clemson, Miami, Florida, Colorado State at Texas. That'll be a 3:30 ESPN game. Western Kentucky and Alabama and Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and then again that Sunday night game, you get the LSU Southern Cal game.
So you think college football saw the NFL doing their schedule reveal? Like, hey, we got to get in on this too. You think that's what they happened? The powers that be were like, hey, we got some games too.
The NFL or
the college football, because they wanted to get out here with the times. Obviously, these games have been scheduled, but then they wanted to put the times out, so they're like, hey, we have times too. There's going to be games.
Jump on the bandwagon?
Or did they want to get it out the way because they know the behemoth of the NFL is coming today on schedule reveal day?
Yeah, I think you see they slid it in there for the times. They slid it in because yesterday, again, as you were going through the day, just little nuggets popped out. Oh, okay, Dolphins, Bills, week 2. Oh, okay, Jets. As we were sitting, who knows? By the time we get to the end of this show, they may have the whole first week released. You don't know the way because you figure, who knows? the NFL right now. There you go. NFL international schedule announced. Yeah, we know, we now know all this. I mean, but yeah, we'll get more times on this. I'm just glancing real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 5 of the SEC games on that Saturday have already been announced for game times. It'd be interesting to see where everyone else kind of falls in line. Again, Alabama, A&M, Furman, Chattanooga. So 3 of the games that SEC teams will play feature FCS teams. So I don't know if that plays into how the SEC network or ESPN2 or any other network will end up scheduling those games. But 8 days until 100 days until we officially start a whole nother countdown for South Carolina. We get you a couple times there. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in if you want to yell at me and question my sanity for wanting a noon game against Old Dominion as we get ready to do that. A couple things from last night. Again, NBA and NHL. If you didn't stay up to watch it, Preston, we wrote off, I think, or at least I did. We all wrote off the Denver Nuggets. They lose the first 2 games in Denver to Minnesota. Anthony Edwards was absolutely incredible in those games. Lo and behold, the Nuggets just go about their business, and they now win last night to go up 3-2 in that series. Anthony Edwards last night, this is interesting. I think you and I talked about this off air yesterday. We were looking up at one of the TVs, and it showed us that the point spread, the total points for Anthony Edwards was 29.5. Were you and I?
Yep.
Okay, off air. And I think both of us said if you wanted to bet that, as we looked at it, we said you either take the over and the Timberwolves to win, or you take the under and the Nuggets to win the game. Anthony Edwards last night, 5 of 15, 18 points, but 7 of 8 from the foul line. So really no damage done from him.
And they resulted in a loss. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. The only way that the Timberwolves have a fighting shot is if the Ant-Man pulls off those 2 performances he had in the first 2 games. I don't care what anybody says. You're not going to convince me. Karl Anthony Towns, whatever. Rudy Gobert, whatever. For the 4-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, you're going to get this work by the Joker to the tune of 40, 13, and 9.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that you are the Defensive Player of the Year giving up those types of numbers to anybody.
No, it was so now the Nuggets up 3-2, look like they're in full control of that series. We'll see if the Timberwolves can get it to a game 7 there. The Knicks with a 30-point rout over the Pacers last night. NHL tonight, we'll go back to Carolina tonight. Rangers and Hurricanes. I'm kind of looking forward to this. There should be this has been some bad blood in the series. Excuse me, that's tomorrow night, Thursday night. Only one NHL game tonight, Colorado and Dallas. But you get tomorrow night, so you get kind of a night off, and then Rangers at Hurricanes tomorrow night. Last night, Boston stays in the series. They beat Florida 2-1. Vancouver and Edmonton, which has been a good series. It's just late at night and far, and in Canada.
Yeah.
But
Vancouver's about as far away as he could be.
3-2 last night. Edmonton wins that. And the other news from last night that we got into a little bit, WNBA Caitlin Clark making her debut, but maybe the bigger storyline was that of A'ja Wilson, the reigning MVP player, 2-time MVP, scores 30 last night, but gets it done very quickly and in very efficiently. 17 points to start the game for A'ja Wilson, who, as you said in our rundown, the MVP continues MVPing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what it is. When a person is coming into their stage of dominance, I think it's pretty clear. A'ja probably has about a 4 to 5 year run of dominance here, along with the team and the support that they have. That's going to be very interesting to watch and see how this plays out for her professionally. They already have 2. I don't know why there won't be any more in the future.
Yeah. One other note from last night, Braves, unfortunately for Jen, stomped the Cubs 7-0. Chris Sale, who's been fantastic. We'll do our Chop Talk segment tomorrow, but Chris Sale last night, 7 innings, gives up just 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, did not walk anybody. Chris Sale is fantastic right now. Braves had a 6-run fourth in a 7-0 victory there for them. So the Braves win 7-0, move to 26-13 on the season. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning. When we come back, we'll talk a little more WNBA. We'll talk a little NBA too, but maybe pre-NBA. Caitlin Clark, as Preston said, rookies struggle. And of course they do.
Surprise.
So,
I mean, seriously, it's a different brand of basketball. If you were expecting her to come off of the court in Iowa and do the same thing for the Heat, it's like, no, of course she's not going to. And don't slam her. Oh, she had a tough time, boy. I don't know if she's going to make it. Really?
I don't know about this one.
I mean, come on. Jiminy Christmas.
We'll get
and
in.
you can't compare her to Asia Wilson either.
Gotcha. No.
Again, no.
We'll have to maybe we'll see if we can go back and dig up Asia's stats.
I was kind of doing that, looking up.
In her debut. 803-404-6100. Sam weighs in. Bill, I was at that same LSU game that you were talking to Preston about. It was the worst fan experience in my life. I'll never go back to an LSU game. It was something. Now, I might have had something to do with it in the first half. Who was it? Troy Williamson caught a touchdown pass down the right sideline from, I believe that was Corey Jenkins, and y'all went up 14-3.
Yeah.
And I may or may not have stood up and taunted some LSU fans with Tiger Bait chants, and that might have been a really dumb decision on my part later in the second half.
Talk about things changing quickly.
Yeah.
That's the old meme. Was it that SpongeBob meme 5 minutes later or whatever? Yeah, things change.
Yeah. The evolution of that game was bad. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
Hey, it's Jen for CHW Cabinetry in Lexington, the kitchen that we ended up having to remodel thanks to a flood that happened in our house. I was not looking forward to doing any of that. I'm not going to lie. It might have even been a little bit of a grouch. But I'm telling you, when we got to CHW Cabinetry in Lexington, they were great. They helped us kind of figure out what we needed, how the layout might work best, even some special accessory drawers and things that are kind of fun now. All of those elements that we needed to complete the kitchen. And then we got that photorealistic rendering that showed what our kitchen would look like when the kitchen was done, and that helped us put everything else together, and it was great. They don't do just kitchens, though. If you have a closet that needs to be more functional, maybe a pantry that needs to be better organized, they can help with those types of things. If you need to create a home workspace, they can help you with that as well. Just visit chwcabinetry.com or call them today, 803-520-6837. Be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation. I-26 eastbound at Lake Murray Boulevard, around exit 102. There is an accident there. Aside from that, other tie-ups have been cleared, so we welcome that for sure. 84 will be our high today. There still could be a pop-up shower, and maybe later this afternoon, early this evening, another chance for a thunderstorm. Tomorrow, sunny, 85 for a high. A few showers popping back in the forecast on Friday, also a high of 85. And then this weekend, chances for showers and storms here and there Saturday and Sunday with highs in the low 80s. But it's kind of nice to see the sun right now. Just a little bit of a breeze. It's 65 on the early game.
$7:20 as we get you up. You just heard Jen say it on a bright and shiny Wednesday morning here in the Midlands. If you're in Florence, if you're in Myrtle Beach, hope you're doing well. Always appreciate our listeners down there on 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And also a reminder, wherever you're going, if you're going outside of the actual radio area, you can download the 107.5 The Game app. Go to your app store and search 107.5 The Game. You can download us, take us anywhere. And, of course, if you want to see our beards, we were talking Tiger Woods goatee this morning and debating some facial hair discussion. Jen chiming in and saying she just never felt the need to grow a goatee and just didn't match her eyes.
No, it really didn't.
Yeah, totally understand. So we appreciate Jen for doing that. But if you ever want to go and check us out, you can go to our live stream powered by Integrated Media. Go to the Game TV Radio, and that's sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Go to youtube.com there, and you can check it out, the Game TV Radio. 803-404-6100. Little WNBA talk. Look, this is what Dawn Staley kind of talked about with Caitlin Clark, drawing attention to the women's game, making it interesting. Because let's be honest, how many times have we ever discussed opening night of WNBA? But Caitlin Clark, and I think she's polarizing because I think you either got tired of seeing her being promoted and now you want to see her fail, or you want to see her succeed. I'm not sure which one it is, but I feel like it's one of those two. I don't know if there's a middle ground on that. But last night for her, she struggled a little bit. 5 of 15 from the field, 4 of 11 from three-point range. She did have 20 points, 6 of 6 from the foul line. But here's the stat that instantly jumps out. That's right, 10 turnovers.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. That's obviously not going to be. That's not going to be a formula for success for that team or for her personally. However, I do expect that's something that's going to change because there's a difference in speed between obviously coming from college, preseason games, and then actual games. I've stated before. And I think it's almost a disservice to the women who have already been playing. Like, these women have already been here. They are certified professionals.
Yes.
They're not just going to let some young punk come up and just do whatever she wants. That's just not how professional or any sports leagues work. So she'll have a lot to work on, but you could see still some of the remnants of the game. She hit some of the long threes. She did some of the things. So I think it's pretty confident that she'll be okay.
803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phones. Barron wants to weigh in this morning. Barron, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Hey, how are you? I just wanted to say I'm not a big fan of hers, but I watched last night, and I was amazed that she wound up with 20 points. It seemed like the opposing team had their mind made up. They were going to guard her and keep her from scoring. When they let a little freshman run in there and make them all look bad, it was plain to see, though, she had more savvy than anybody on the court. She was a little smarter, and she could hit. And I was kind of shocked that she did as good as she could do. I remember Pete Mary's coming into Atlanta. Same situation. You know, you want to prove yourself. And she's got the savvy, and she's so small, but she'll be able to play because she can get that outside shot. Now, what got me, the coach had no plays, no screening for her. You know, for Tennessee, if you notice, they had plays set up where he got to come double screen so he could get a shot off. Well, they had none of this going on. She was on her own. She got fouled several times. Unless she got knocked down, they wouldn't call it. And she was completely roughed up. I thought she played a great game for the first game. And the other team had their mind made up. They were all guarding her. I mean, they watched everywhere she went. If she got with one person, somebody else dropped off with their man on her. And anyway, I just saw her say that. I thought she got 20 points, and I thought she did great. Well, it's going to be expected. I'll get off the line and let you talk now. Thank you.
Appreciate the phone call.
Ooh, now we're getting sporty sport here. We're talking about getting off ball, down screens, running actions, Bill. All the stuff that gets all the basketball folks excited. I did notice that she was very ball dominant. And I know they have usage rates and things like that to measure that. I would wonder if, as the caller just stated, there might be some more opportunities for her to get off the ball, running off screens, get her some open opportunities to make shots. But also, to be honest, Aaliyah has to step up too. Aaliyah did not play very well last night. That could be a combination of not getting the ball enough, whatever the action was, the plays were. I see that team running the old Utah Jazz pick and roll and being very, very dominant. They didn't do a lot of that last night, so there are opportunities for them to be better.
A couple other notes. You just mentioned it. Aaliyah Boston last night, 29 minutes, only scored 4 points, 2 of 6 from the field. She was not the only Gamecock in the game. Taisha Harris playing for Connecticut last night, 28 minutes, 6 of 11 from the field, 4 of 6 from three-point range. Taisha Harris having 16 points. And Tiffany Mitchell, we talk about another woman. I was going to call her a young lady. She's not really a young lady anymore, but another woman who really jump-started everything for Dawn Staley. Tiffany, by the way, 29 years of age. Now I feel a little bit older reading that. Tiffany Mitchell, though, coming off the bench last night for the Connecticut Sun, 12 minutes, only scoring 4 points, 1 of 4 from the field. So three Gamecocks in that game last night. Let's go back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Brian wants to weigh in this morning. Brian, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Hey, well, Bill and Preston, how y'all doing this morning?
Doing well.
Hey, glad you guys are talking some WNBA this morning. I thought it was interesting to see all the coverage on Caitlin Clark, but we don't go through Aaliyah like they did last year. They're gonna have trouble. I mean, she was barely getting touches down there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. My son had AAU basketball practice. I did not see the game, so therefore I can't speak to the X's and O's and how they ran their offense and what they did. But look, basketball is a guard-dominated sport, and you look at Nikolai Jokic last night and what he did. I mean, he's got guard skills. He brings it up. It's really slow when it comes up, but it's efficient and it works, and that's kind of what you've got to be able to do, and that's where Aaliyah Boston's still a little bit different, even in the WNBA, is that she has to have help getting her the basketball.
Yeah, well, shout out to all the Lady Gamecocks. Four Lady Gamecocks in the W, rocking it out. Thanks for covering them. You guys have a great day.
You too. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to choose to do so. Bill in Hartsville, and he says Bill and Hartsville. So I don't know if this is all of Hartsville or if it's just, but he says he wants to see Caitlin Clark humbled. So I don't know if all of Hartsville wants to see her humbled or just Bill, and it should have been. But yeah, and then Michael saying Taurasi and Swoops were called haters when they said she would have an adjustment period.
Yeah, and that's I mean we spoke about that briefly. I mean, Cheryl Swoops and Diana Taurasi, I think those are people that we probably should be listening to when they talk about the state of the W, the state of women's basketball. And I don't think either one of them were hating. They were just saying, hey, there's going to be an adjustment level as far as competition is concerned.
803-404-6100. We'll go from the WNBA to the NBA draft and the combine taking place. Still, one of the funnier stories is how we listed Bronny James at 6'4" for a while, only to turn out he's, 6'1 3/4"?
It happens.
Yeah. It
happens to the best of us, Bronny.
Shrinkage is a real thing. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
Hey, are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Well, listen carefully because now there are new regenerative treatments available here. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Is now open, giving lasting relief to people with joint pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing agents from your own body. QC Kinetics has over 100 clinics nationwide and has treated thousands of patients with incredible success. And their advanced protocols are an exciting way to manage pain from arthritis and injury without surgery or steroids. So if you got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, you need to check it out with these new treatments. So call now to schedule your free consultation with the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. That's 803-281-6860. 803-281-6860.
Just one accident out there to let you know about, and that is I-26 eastbound around Lake Murray Boulevard. Around exit 102 is where that accident is. The sun is out. We're loving that. A little bit of a breeze right now. Could see a pop-up shower later today, maybe even a shower or thunderstorm later this afternoon or early this evening. A high of 84 is what we're expecting. Sunny and 85 tomorrow, and then 85 for Friday with a few showers coming in. More chances for rain on Saturday with a high of 81 and and a couple isolated storms on Sunday with a high of 83. But welcoming the sunshine for sure. It is 65 in the early game.
.34 as we kind of roll along here on your Wednesday morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. And I tell you what, right now, let's give you a chance to win some fireflies. I got to admit, I don't know what we're calling them.
So why aren't they the Fireflies?
It's still the Fireflies. The grits is going to be a special promotion that they'll run. That'll be a special promotion. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right as I went to say that out loud, I was like, did they go grits full time? Which I like. That's minor league baseball. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really cool. That's I obviously Adlu Flower right here in town. And
grits. Go to the ballpark, get grits. Hello.
Yeah, we can't go wrong with that. But let's give you a chance here. We've got 2 family 4-packs to give away. This is for Friday against the Charleston River Dogs. I think, again, they are developing a rivalry with, or we have a rivalry with. I'm not real sure. But let's give you 2 family 4-packs right now. 803-404-6100. We'll take callers 3 and 4. Callers 3 and 4. You can win a family 4-pack. We've got 2 of them to give away. And that will be for the Fireflies and the Charleston River Dogs. First pitch set for 7:05. That'll be Friday night over at Segra Park. We'll take callers 3 and 4. Right now. Before you do that, Jen, oh, never mind, Jen's already on the phone. The NBA Combine is taking place right now. And yesterday, Dalton Connect was fantastic, by the way. I don't know where he's going to be drafted and what's going to happen. Everything I read yesterday suggests he may not have the highest upside of anybody in the draft, but he is the most NBA-ready player in the draft. So if you're wanting a guy who can come in and impact your team, Alexander Sarr, who is considered by many to be potentially be the number 1 pick, is a guy that, like, long-term development that maybe the Hawks take. Dalton Connect is the guy that's like, all right, this guy can come in, definitely be a rotational piece, maybe depending on where he goes, a starter next year. But the bigger attraction right now has been Bronny James and where he's going to go. I didn't realize this until yesterday, exactly LeBron's contract. Like,
okay.
Do you understand?
Let's lay it out.
Do you understand this contract? Because I didn't until yesterday.
I think I got a pretty good grip on it.
All right. The NBA draft is June 26th and 27th. Okay, it's 26th and 27th. It'll be up at the Barclays Center. ESPN will air everything, or ESPN and ABC. If I understand LeBron's contract correctly, his opt-out date on his Lakers contract, his player option, is June 29th. Therefore, if you draft Bronny James on June 29th, LeBron probably opts out of his contract and says, all right. And again, LeBron's not going to be all about money here. This is all about playing with his son. That's what we've heard from LeBron James. It's all about playing with his son. So, again, the draft is June 26th and 27th. LeBron's opt-out date is June 29th.
There's 2 parts to this equation, though, because while LeBron has been consistently stating that he wants to play with his son, Jen, I think we have the clip from Bronny, and Bronny's like, I don't know, man. That's more my dad's thing than his thing. Can we get Bronny really quickly here talking about his dad's hopes? Because I think this is really interesting.
A lot of people made a big thing about it. One time your dad was like, oh, it's like my dream to play with my son. But I don't know if anybody had ever asked you, did you ever dream about playing with your dad, for you, or what went to it from your perspective?
No, never. My dream has always just been to put my name out, make a name for myself, and of course, get to the NBA, which is everyone's end goal that is here. And I never thought about just playing with my dad, but of course he's brought it up a couple times. But yeah, I don't think about it much.
All I can see is Bronny just doing the eye roll. It's like, hey, son, when you get to be 18, we can play in the same team. He's like, yeah, Dad.
Be like, Dad, we can also play against each other and play together in the driveway, too.
Yeah. Also, Bronny's probably not very excited about finally making it to the NBA and having a room with Dad. You get to be in the NBA and then your dad has to be there everywhere that you go. That doesn't seem very exciting.
No.
I don't want...
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I actually never thought about that. Because if he goes, what is he? He's going to be 20-ish. How old is he? Let's just look real quick. So he'll be 20 in October. So when the season starts, he will be 20. And you got a good point there, because 20, okay, I get it. Look, I don't know, fake IDs or whatever, people getting into 5 points, whatever. But you're right. If he is in the NBA, he's thinking, man, this is cool. I'm going to travel. I'm going to have a few dollars. No, now you're going to have a chaperone with you.
Hey, Bronny, where we going today? Hey, Bronny, I was thinking, this is what we could do today. We're going to go check out this art museum or something. It's like, Dad, I want to just go hang with my teammates.
Right.
Hey, Bronny, where we going?
That is actually a legitimate point there.
Do you really want your dad on every road trip of your NBA, your first chance to get out the house? Because also, he went to college at USC. They live in California. So this dude has never had a chance to, live.
So he might go crazy once he actually gets out on his own.
He's like, no, please don't take my dad.
And that's been, and in all seriousness, this has been a big part. If you haven't really followed some of the backstory of LeBron, he obviously didn't have a dad growing up, and a big part of him is being a dad to his children.
100%.
You and I have talked about LeBron can be annoying, but LeBron has been an incredible father to his kids and has gone out of his way to be at events, to be supportive. He's not been over the top like the Ball father, Lamar Ball.
Has not done that. He's been a model citizen, for sure. That's to everybody else.
And you're right. And this is him. He wants to be in his kids' lives. He wants his kids there. He's made sure they've always been there. He's had Bronny there on the floor with him when he won championships in Cleveland. And you're right. I think this is LeBron's oh, man, this will be awesome. You and I, NBA, just the guys hanging out. We're going to be, come on, man. Hotel pizzas. And, oh, this will be great, Bronny. And Ronnie's like, I want to go with the guys, Dad. They're going out. No, Bronny, we're gonna. Yeah, it's an interesting. I hope the best for him. It's a lot. I can't imagine being a superstar. I read some stuff a long time ago on Michael Jordan's kids and what they had to go through and everything. And look, obviously there's a lot of pluses.
Yes.
To being
also for Bronny, I mean, I haven't seen that much of him, and just getting a chance to really, if you're looking to escape the shadow of your dad, it's going to be really tough because, boy, you look at that dude and you're like, oh, yeah, that's LeBron James' son. But minus the 6'8", because he's 6'1.5". In the face, though, and even just now, just listening to him, it's going to be difficult to escape that.
John weighs in, and then this is the other point. He says, in all fairness, does he get into the NBA without his dad? I don't care too much for LeBron, so if I was his son, I'd be very grateful. But yeah, no, Bronny's.
Yeah, no,
he's not an NBA player.
No,
and maybe he would be. Maybe he will be in time, but everybody knows he needs to go back to. So he should have gone back or transferred. Should have maybe if he wanted to transfer to Ohio State or be like, Dad, where are you signing?
LeBron was definitely like, hey, son, you ever think about Ohio State?
Yeah, if you're Bronny, yeah, you're like, man, transfer portal. I can't enter the portal because Dad's gonna follow me.
LeBron has this affinity for Ohio. He's like, Dad, I did not grow up in Ohio. I am a California kid. Why do you want us to go to Akron? Akron sucks. Yeah. It's so boring when I go to Akron. I want to live in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hey, Bronny, what you think? Akron?
But that's what I'm saying. Even if he wanted to transfer, let's just say he wanted to transfer to the Miami Hurricanes. LeBron's like, cool. I'll opt out of my contract. I'll go on down to Miami with you.
No.
Dad, I want to transfer to, the Texas Longhorns. Cool. Dallas is not too far a drive. I'll transfer there.
Mom, come on, help me out here.
Mom's busy wearing whatever that animal was that was on her head. Did y'all see that hat that she had?
It's impressive. There's a lot of things going on.
If I say, all I could think of is I was sitting behind that and paid that amount of money. Like, cool. LeBron's sitting in front of me. Man, what are you going to wear this hat for?
I guess you want to make sure that nobody could see over her head, just like nobody could see over his head.
Yeah, that was disaster. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 2. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. Owner and founder Larry Leitner, he and Mid-State Roofing have been the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry for nearly 30 years, and Mid-State Roofing is ready to help you today. We know that you're not walking around thinking about your roof, but Larry Leitner and Mid-State Roofing, the family, they are. They want to make sure that they take care of you. They're going to provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner that's both safe and pleasing to your operation. And guess what? They're going to do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They never stop. That's how great their customer service is. Call today. You either speak with an on-call technician or with a Mid-State Roofing employee. 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. You can protect that roof with a maintenance contract, again, by calling Mid-State Roofing. 803-356-1919. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. 7:48 here as we roll along. May the 15th, a Wednesday morning, as we have had our countdown rolling along. 8 days until 100 days to the start of South Carolina and Clemson football, both opening on that Saturday. We talked a little bit about that this morning with some start times coming out. I have angered a few and had a few join with me on. I'd be okay with a noon opener, a nooner. Give me the nooner. Get out there, start tailgating about 8:30, 8:45. Head on into the stadium at 11:30ish. I'd be okay with that. I'm okay.
Wishful thinking.
I do think it's more likely we get the night game, which would be fine. I'm not anti, but off air. Preston, I was giving Preston all the reasons: traffic issues, late nights.
That being said, let's not do a afternoon game, right? Either the nooner or night. No.
Perfect time is the 3:34. I know we're not going to get to 3:30, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the 4 o'clock game, too.
Nah.
That is where it's hottest because then you have to tailgate in the heat.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Like you're doing your tailgating in the heat.
Mm-mm.
So, no.
Yeah, because then we don't get the cool light show at the beginning of the game. Well, it probably won't still be. Bill, you might be. I'm not coming around to it. But
bring it. You get 108 days.
That's true. That's true.
You get 108 days.
That's some time to think about it.
The 4 o'clock the 4 o'clock October or November games are the absolute best. Prefer them to be the 3:30 ABC games. But by the way, that's another thing for this year, Preston. No CBS for the SEC.
I haven't even put my mind to that yet. I think I'm not even. That's not even happening in my mind. There's two things that are happening in the TV world. I got my eye closely on this TNT deal with the NBA.
Yeah.
That might bring a ruin to one of the best things we've produced as far as TV is concerned. And then this whole SEC thing, I have not even acknowledged it.
It won't hit you, unfortunately, until I don't know if CBS has not released their schedule just yet, but it will not hit you really until the first time you hear that theme music come on at 3:30, and it's Big Ten highlights and not SEC highlights. That's when you're going to be like, oh.
When it's what?
Ooh.
Rutgers versus Iowa or something stupid like that.
Yeah, and I'm not, to be honest with you, I think because of CBS, one other thing that happened yesterday is Fox put out their first 3 games. Or they put out, I think they put out, it was like their first 3 games, because I know they will be at Texas and they will be at Michigan, Texas going to Michigan, but they will be at Alabama, Wisconsin, I believe week 2, and I believe that will be at 11 a.m. kick time for Alabama, Wisconsin. Kudos to that's their marketing strategy. They are trying to corner the market on the big noon games, whatever they call it, big noon, Fox, big whatever. But so they also put their times out. But yeah, it'll be a lot. We got hope, is what you're telling me?
Bill, there's hope.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard, but radio host / basketball coach,
I've
Doug Gottlieb.
If you didn't see this yesterday,
I haven't seen this. Doug Gottlieb has been hired as the basketball coach at Green Bay.
Wisconsin Green Bay,
which, interesting choice. However, what's more interesting is that not only will he be the head coach, but he will also keep his radio job.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, Bill, is that I know you've been working in the AAU circles. I know you're still keeping your coaching chops up. If there's opportunities around here, you do not have to leave the early game in order to go get that job that you've been looking for.
Now, is that only for high school or is that only for college? Am I open to all gigs?
Hey, listen, the precedent has been set. It's open for all gigs.
Okay.
Trailblazer. I'm not sure how this is going to work. It's not going to. Well, let me say that. It's not going to work. I'll put that there. Not because of obviously I don't know anything about Doug Gottlieb's skills as a coach, but the division of labor is going to be pretty intense, and then also there's going to be a extreme conflict of interest.
That's what I was going to go to, is the conflict of interest. Where does I don't know. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not a Doug Gottlieb fan. Where does he do his radio show? Is it on our, or do we have him on our network? Do we?
I hear him occasionally. And that's the thing about Doug Gottlieb for me. I only just hear him.
Oh,
But he's been around for
a while,
2 decades.
Yeah, I believe.
Which is surprising, amazing, surprising. Man, however you want to phrase that. But the idea that he's going to be essentially part of the show while talking about the show is interesting to say the least.
Yeah, he has to be, I would assume, very selective in how he talks. I think. I'm not sure. I didn't realize. I just read this. Golly, now I feel old. I didn't realize that Doug Gottlieb was basically in the same class as Baron Davis.
That sounds about right.
I didn't realize that because I was just reading some of his Wikipedia where it says he was perceived to be waiting on Baron Davis to choose a school, as both UCLA and Georgia Tech indicated to him that he was their second choice. Remember, we've talked about recruiting, and sometimes you don't have some options that you think you have.
Yeah. Baron Davis, Doug Gottlieb.
UCLA made a good decision because it does tell me that Davis chose UCLA where Gottlieb's family had season tickets for 20 years and his brother and sisters were alums. He had to look elsewhere.
Secretly, I'm sure they're like, let's go get Baron.
Yeah. Might not have even been.
By the way, if you don't remember Baron Davis as a young player, if this may be out of your range or whatever, just go YouTube some of the stuff that he did. He was amazing.
I just hadn't heard that name in a long time. We'll do hour number 3.
Still hope, Bill.
Still hope. I'm available as head coach basketball. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. All right, what you heard Jen give the weather report. Actually, pretty nice day. Weather still staying kind of cool, but we all know those days are coming to a close. And right now, Roy and Dana Finley, AAA Heating and Air, well, you know what they're doing? They are telling their customers no. Okay, that sounds awkward, right? But guess what? What they mean is you can get a new system purchase with no payments and no interest for a whole year. You've heard that right. That's what they're saying no to. No payments and no interest for a whole year. If you purchase a brand new system through AAA Heating and Air in 2024, you have no payments and no interest until 2025. So do what I've done. I called AAA Heating and Air over a year ago, had them come out to my house. You can do the same. 803-677-1500 and get a free estimate today. You just need to tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Again, that's AAA Heating and Air. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
And taking a peek out there to see what the traffic conditions are holding for you. And we do have a few accidents to let you know about. Downtown Columbia, Sumter Street near Wheat. Also, Longs Pond Road near I-20. Killian Road at I-77. I-20 westbound before Spears Creek Church Road. That would be exit 82. And one other to let you know about, it's Highway 1 at Jarvis Clapman. So a few accidents out there, but clear skies, and we do welcome that. Maybe a chance for an afternoon thunderstorm. High of 84. It should be sunny and clear tomorrow, 85 for the high. Then those rain chances increase come Friday afternoon and a high of 85. Right now, we are looking at 65 on the early game.
Eight a.m. and the countdown is on. 8 days until 100 days until college football. 32 Mondays, as we were informed yesterday, until Christmas, which actually that probably means we're about 4 Mondays away from Christmas attire and Christmas ornaments popping up at your local Walmart.
Very true.
And if I'm doing the math right, Preston Thorne, we are
it's easy.
We are 12 hours, right?
12 hours.
12 hours.
Directly, 11 hours and 59 minutes.
Okay, yeah, it's 8:01 as I look over. 11. Well, what's in 11 hours and 59 minutes? The NFL schedule release takes over your television tonight. It full force. NFL schedule release tonight, Preston Thorne.
I think we might have hit on this, and I've heard people saying, but the NFL just tells us what to think, and we think it. They've told us that this is a big deal, and so we're going to think this is a big deal because they could just release the schedule. But why would they miss an opportunity to get more of our attention, get more anticipation for the season, and garner some excitement for what is, who knows what the season turns out, but we're all going to be locked in. So NFL, again, A+ as far as marketing is concerned.
So, because as you were just saying, so here's the thing. We know the opponents. So, for example, and this is kind of the crazy thing. Like, you're releasing the schedule, but, like, the Panthers' schedule, we know the opponents and we know where they're at. I know right now, looking at it, that the Panthers will host the Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Dallas Cowboys will come to Bank of America Stadium. The Kansas City Chiefs are coming. The Los Angeles Chargers, the New Orleans Saints. They will play the Giants in Germany. I don't know why we're doing that to the people of Germany, sending the Panthers and the Giants over there. It seems cruel and unusual punishment. World War II ended a long time ago. And they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
There's your 8 home games, and they are considered the home team in Germany. So that one. I know that they're going on the road. I know they're going to the Falcons. I know they're going to the Bears. I know they're going to the Broncos. I know they're going to the Raiders, obviously the Saints and the Buccaneers as well. But I know they're going to the Eagles, and I know they're going to the Commanders. I know the Panthers' schedule.
Yeah, but see, Bill, when? Because what if we're going to the Bears in December? Ooh, changes the calculus. What if you're playing the Eagles in January? Oh, things change. So that's the one piece of the equation that the NFL's going to be.
And see, the NFL got to you. They've got to you.
Because can Caleb Williams throw in the snow? Will he even be available? Who knows? I don't know. It's so exciting, Bill. Schedule release.
And it's just, yes, it really is funny how the NFL basically grabs us and is like, this is a big deal tonight. and we're going to have wall-to-wall coverage. NFL Plus, NFL Network, ESPN's going to be doing a 2-hour thing. You've got all the big guests. Everybody's weighing in tonight. Jim Nantz will be somewhere. Mike Tirico will be somewhere. I don't know if there's some kind of odd Manning cast, which we don't know about.
Probably.
There is so much.
All hands on deck.
And again, it's mildly entertaining. Now, I guess I don't have a legitimate SEC team, so I can understand what you just said because I'm assuming in October, the SEC will hype me up to tell me what days South Carolina will play their 2025 schedule so that I can look ahead and try and figure out my road trips for that. And at that point, and on that day in October, I'll be like, all right, Preston, this is big. Where do you get this team, and when do you get this team, and how do you have your bio lined up? And okay, all right, here's everything. And by the way, remember for South Carolina in 2025, they will open the season on the road, well, in a neutral site at Mercedes-Benz Stadium against Virginia Tech. So, yes, I will be very excited for the SEC schedule date release.
See?
And I guess that's how people are.
And also, when they announced that game, they were like, oh, yeah, in 2025, we're playing Virginia Tech. When they announced that game, I was like, man, that's a long way away. And now it's not. Just keep lamenting the passage of time, how this happens very quickly.
Daryl weighs in and says, how does Dallas play at Carolina 2 years in a row? They were at Carolina last year, went to that game. I have no idea. Look, I'll be honest. I have no clue how. I know how they kind of do these schedules, but I'm just reading. This is 5 hours ago from the New York Times, and it's actually on The Athletic. Carolina Panthers 2024 schedule release, home and road opponents, and more on the season ahead. So I was just reading off of what The Athletic has put out for the Carolina Panthers, and I guess now I'm kind of questioning myself, do I want to see if I can get tickets to the Chiefs? Now I got to look at the weekend and be like, oh, is that a weekend that works for me? Go up and see Patrick Mahomes?
See?
Do I want to go see Joe Burrow? How much would you pay to see Patrick Mahomes? Like how much, where is that dollar figure where it gets too high for those tickets?
I mean, that's all relative. I think the idea is we've breached this conversation before. An athlete that you would want to pay to go see, and Patrick Mahomes is on the list for sure. He's somebody that I would want to see in person to see just how that looks like, what that looks like, how that operates, just how the whole Chiefs things go. So, yeah, he's somebody that's definitely on the list. And maybe even Joe Burrow might be on the list, too.
Yeah, again, Cincinnati, according to this from The Athletic, expected to come, or will become, not expected. This is what the schedule is. But, yeah, we'll get the dates on that tonight. Wall-to-wall coverage, too, while you're trying to watch. Poor NBA. NBA's like, all right, well, we'll move our games to TNT for y'all. Cleveland and Boston tonight. Dallas and Oklahoma City at 9:30.
Listen, if you're trying to get attention, you can't counter back with Cleveland and Boston. We've already stated that nobody wants to watch the Cleveland game except for one man who showed up to the playoffs, which, by the way, he showed up. This is LeBron. He's been a professional his whole career. He understands how time works. Conveniently showed up at the end of the first quarter, walks in to his seats, does a round of applause.
Conveniently, also, as you just said, seemed to wait until he was sure Donovan Mitchell would not be playing, because without Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland was not beating Boston. So therefore, the fans could be like, oh, we don't have Donovan Mitchell tonight. Man, I wish we had LeBron. What if we had LeBron back? What if we put LeBron with Donovan Mitchell? Oh, that's a good, now they're all sitting around like, yeah, this way, LeBron and Donovan Mitchell. All right, now we got to draft Bronny.
There's something there.
See how that went down a path?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised you didn't walk Bronny through there as well and be like, here's your future second round pick. So
hold him up like the Lion King. Like
He's back. Yeah. 803-404-6100. Speaking of the NBA playoffs last night, it's amazing. And this is sports, right? How quickly we turned on the Denver Nuggets. Like so reactionary. How quickly they lost 2 games to the Timberwolves. I was like, I don't know if the Timberwolves are going to lose another game in the playoffs. We're heading for a Timberwolves Celtics, and it's going to be incredible, and that's going to be one of the greatest series ever. And the Nuggets have now rattled off 3. We all wrote them off. I think there was even, we sit here, we have these TVs. I think one of these shows that we were looking at had the headline up that said, Nuggets dynasty over, which didn't even know they had a dynasty, but we had already written that Nuggets dynasty off. Nuggets last night come back 112-97. Nikola Jokic, 40 points and just potato of a human being that can play basketball.
Though he did do a two-handed dunk last night. A two-hand dunk. Only one of them, to be clear. He's the best player in the world. Hands down.
And a week ago, was it a week ago? We were like, oh, Anthony Edwards, best player in the world. Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan?
We was making the comparisons. We were saying he's coming along. He has the potential. As of this moment right now today, Jokic is the best player in the world. And I keep encouraging everybody. I know the games are on late. If you need to go to YouTube and watch him if you haven't seen him, it's wizardry what he does on a basketball court. It is
effortless
amazing.
too. Yeah,
and he is such a joy for me just to watch the angles. I mean, I think I saw him throw a hook shot, a legit hook shot yesterday after he pivoted 3 or 4 times up and under. It's so fun to watch him play, but the way he gets his teammates involved, the Nuggets are a really fun team to watch, and I'll go ahead and make that proclamation. That series is over. It's done.
Yeah, we did that last week already. We're changing it.
It's done now.
112-97 last night. Jokic, his third MVP trophy, too. I don't know if there's been a player who won 3 MVPs more quietly than Nikola Jokic. And again, you mentioned it last night, 40 points. By the way, you are aware the MVP trophy is called the Michael Jordan Award, right?
I didn't know that. Is that something that they just recently changed?
I do think recently it got changed. Yes, very recently. But yeah, Nuggets last night, no real problem. They kind of roll over the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, who again last week we were proclaiming to be the next Michael Jordan. Anthony Edwards last night, just 18 points in that game, minus 12 if you're looking at the plus minus for when he was on the floor.
You want to ruffle some feathers? Listen to this list. Kareem, Michael, Russell, Wilt, LeBron, Bird, Magic, Jokic.
There is a massive name you did not mention. Is Kobe not on that list?
Kobe's not on this list. He's not in this class.
Nikola Jokic or Shaquille O'Neal? O'Neal not on that list
not on
either.
This class either. This is the list of 3-time MVPs. Get them out of here.
I mean, to your point, like I said, you watch him play. If you just look at him, you're like, because watching him bring the ball up the floor is so entertaining to me. Some turtles are going by him as the ball comes up the floor. Like, take a quick nap. Listen
to that list: LeBron, Wilt, Russell, Michael, Kareem, Bird, Magic, Nikola Jokic.
I'm with you. By the way, I'm with you on how good he is and how much fun he is to watch. That series 3-2 right now. There, Denver takes the lead. Other game last night, Knicks absolutely roll over the Pacers. And coming up next, it's man's basketball. Hold me back.
Oh yeah, I did watch that game, and I would just say it was a lot of hold me back type stuff in that basketball game.
Hold me back while at the same time not really making an effort to go forward.
Hold me back. A lot of that.
We'll get into that a little bit. Roll along here. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, she's Jen Jensen. It is the early game.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, and joint pain? Well, listen carefully because now there are new regenerative treatments available. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine and is now open, giving lasting relief to people with joint pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing agents from your own body, and QC Kinetics has over 100 clinics nationwide and has treated thousands of patients with incredible success. Their advanced protocols are an exciting way to manage pain from arthritis and injury without surgery, steroids, or pain pills. So if you got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, you need to check out these new treatments. and they can actually help your body restore and repair itself. So call now to schedule your free consultation with local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. The number is 803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860.
We do have a few accidents out there to let you know about. I-20 westbound, just after Monticello Road, exit 68. The two right lanes are blocked. So going to need to stay left there at I-20 westbound after Monticello Road. Also, Highway 1 at Jarvis-Clapman Boulevard. I-20 westbound at exit 82. An accident there. Killian Road at I-77. Also, Longs Pond Road near I-20. And in downtown Columbia, Sumter Street near Wheat Street. An accident there. 84 for the high today. Might see a couple more showers or storms later in the afternoon. Tomorrow, sunny and 85 before we hit Friday, and a few showers and 85 for the high. Sun is out right now. We're loving that. 67 on the early game.
.18 here on a Wednesday morning, also known as NFL schedule release day to a lot of y'all. Alan could not care less. Pete, schedule release is stupid. I got to admit, it's not going to be on the television. It's not going to be on the Gunner television.
Yeah, I'm not watching it either.
Like, I don't know where our discussion will take us tomorrow. We'll do some chop talk for the Braves. We'll catch up with Josh Harris from Darlington. Don't imagine a ton. Maybe a game or two that we're like, all right, that might be our homework or something. The one game that you're excited about.
Find
one that really intrigues you.
Well, here's the really thing about schedule releases. The NFL, I look at the NFL as like it's a reality TV show. It's a drama. But we don't know what the characters are going to be happening. We don't know what's actually happening. So games only really gain value once things happen. Somebody gets injured. Right. Somebody gets fired.
And a lot of the rivalry games hit in a certain week or two, so you already know some of those things.
So a lot of those things are happening. So you got to kind of wait to see for the plot to start, or as they were saying last year, for the people to get their scripts,
right?
So we can figure out why should we be intrigued in these games? Because really, the NFL could serve up anything, and we're all going to be there.
They do. It really is amazing. Again, how Major League Baseball can't figure out how to market their product properly, and the NFL has just got it down to where we joke about it. I make jokes. I laugh. There I am, and I just said it. I probably just lied to you and to everybody. Oh, me at 8 o'clock. Just like, well, I'll flip over for a second. And now I've been watching for 30 minutes. Okay. 803-404-6100. Speaking of which, again, tonight in the NBA, we kind of mentioned that the Celtics look to close out the Cavaliers in that series.
Please, put them out of their misery.
Honestly, what I would recommend to do, 6:30, game starts at 7. 6:30, take a nap. Grab yourself a 2-hour nap, 6:30 to 8:30. Get up, because the game after that at 9:30, Dallas and Oklahoma City, has been a lot of fun. You've got a lot of stars in that game. You've got a lot of young stars. You have some really annoying stars who can't sing.
What a girl, what a pro wants.
You got that, which instantly will lead you to not pull for Oklahoma City. Somehow, some way, Kyrie Irving has worked his way into our hearts as the hero of this thing.
Now, see, when I was talking about plots, who would have predicted that? You could have never, from where we were with Kyrie very short time ago to where he is now, I think Kyrie just decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to keep my mouth closed. I'm just going to go play basketball.
He's not saging a court.
Yeah.
He did wear the feather in his ear a few days ago.
But he didn't say anything about it. Everybody just act like it didn't happen. Keep it moving.
You got that. You've got that tonight. Those two games. If you want to get into the NFL, into the NHL schedule tonight, just one game there, 8 o'clock, Colorado and Dallas. And then I'll just throw it out there just to give you your whole nightly experience of whatever you may want leading up to tomorrow's PGA Championship. But tonight on Amazon Prime, it says Prime Video. If you want to watch the New York Yankees and the Minnesota Twins, you can do that stream. Again, there's that streaming stuff that that I think you got to start keeping an eye on a little bit, especially with this NBA deal coming up. Braves, by the way, tonight, 7:20 against the Chicago Cubs. Charlie Morton on the mound. Old Charlie Morton on the mound for the Braves tonight. Last night, though, it was an Eastern Conference basketball game. What the Pacers and the Knicks did last night is Eastern Conference basketball. Just a bunch of tough guys making sure other guys were in the middle of other tough guys, and a lot of chirping, huh?
A lot of hold me back. A lot of hold me back. If you wasn't here, I would. Why I oughta. A lot of that last night. And this from the game that I watched, which again, haven't watched. They're really two contrasting styles. The Pacers like to run up and down the court, shoot a lot of threes. They play like a newer brand of basketball. Tom Thibodeau does not play a newer brand of basketball. It's very old. Jalen Brunson. Here's something interesting. I forget who I heard say this. If you think of Nikola Jokic as he's a big guy, but he's actually a guard.
Right.
Jalen Brunson is a little guy, but he's really a power forward. And when you watch him play, all he does is just bring the ball up. Then he just proceeds to back you down from the three-point. And then he shoots a little left-hand floater. Scores 40 points a game. It's really interesting to watch. But those dudes were out there. It got what's the level above Chippy? because Chip
Heated.
It was heated. There it is. Good word. It was heated last night because Chippy is just chirping, but then you guys running through some extra screens and a lot of people getting legs tangled up on the court. There's a lot of that type of stuff. But in true basketball fashion, in new basketball fashion, nothing happened. No,
it was a 30-point game too.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Well, it wasn't like this was coming down to the wire and there was some questionable calls or fouls. Or
and
anything.
Again, you have to think about the era of basketball that we grew up in, where fighting on the basketball court was not that uncommon of an occurrence.
And Knicks, they were Knicks, but Anthony Mason.
Well,
Charles Oakley.
That was their jobs. Those dudes don't even play basketball anymore. There's no room in basketball for the enforcer, the bruiser. They don't really have those. Everybody on a basketball court now can shoot. They're very skilled and talented. Where are the bruisers? So for the Pacers, it would have been. Think about this series. It would have been Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley versus the Davis brothers.
Yeah.
Antonio and Dale. 4 dudes who have no business being on a basketball court. We just like to rebound and throw elbows. And that's what we consider basketball back in the 90s. Those types of players really don't exist anymore. And so when you get into these things about guys being chirpy, nobody's really trying to fight because these dudes are actually all really skilled basketball players. They don't have any actual tough guys on a basketball court anymore.
I'm trying to go back real quick because obviously the one that always comes to mind is all right, here you go. This is the two met in the first round of the 93 playoffs. Ewing, Oakley, Starks.
My heart is getting warmer.
There's even a Doc Rivers in here, but Ewing, Oakley, Starks. On the flip side of it, you had Reggie Miller. You had Rick Smits.
The Duncan Dutchman.
You had a Detlef Schrempf.
Solid.
And here's your guy, Dale Davis.
Dale Davis, just muscle. I think Dale Davis had a goatee. If I don't remember to bring that thread back, but he was just a ball of muscle, very limited offensively. But that wasn't his job. His job was just to be a tough dude because the other team had tough dudes.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Knicks won that series. They would go to win it. So what did the Pacers do in '94? They went out and got Antonio Davis.
Got to get the Davis brothers, Antonio and Dale.
Davis.
Neither one of them could score a point. But that wasn't the job.
But these two teams met. They met 93 in the Eastern Conference first round, 94 in the Eastern Conference Finals, 95 in this particular round, Eastern Conference semifinals, and they met again in 98 and 99. And 2000, and by the way, 99 and 2000 were both in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, to that point, us old basketball people, the 90s basketball people, this is NBA rivalry. So they were just 24 years later reliving some of those heated moments.
It feels good. It does feel good, especially when you watch the game in the Garden folk, the fans. I don't know what they do, how they mic the Garden or the lights or something like that, but games look, sound, and feel different when the Garden is going crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you on that about the Garden. It is fun to see that. 803-404-6100. Sammy says, love the Dale Davis reference. He and Eldon Campbell were my guys.
Eldon could score a little bit. He could score a little bit, but Dale, just sharpen up these elbows before I go in the game.
Yeah, those were games. The ice bath was a very popular place after those guys. I remember watching, and then it really developed into the Heat and the Knicks there with Pat Riley leaving the Knicks and going to the Heat. Mm-hmm. And then was it Stan Van Gundy just?
That was Jeff. That was Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff holding on for dear life on Alonzo Mourning's calf there.
Good old days.
Yeah, there we go. 803-404-6100. Mark weighs in and says, Thanksgiving Day games, about only games looking forward to seeing. He goes Detroit, Green Bay, Dallas, Houston, Baltimore or Cincinnati or Buffalo. So, yeah, we do get the Thanksgiving games.
Three of them. There's three
maybe
Thanksgiving.
It's like 4 now,
maybe 4 now.
Because I think they throw one on Amazon.
And just take up the whole day.
Yeah, just plan ahead. 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Sheehan Jensen. It is the early game.
Hey, this is Jen for CHW Cabinetry in Lexington. And the help that they gave us in putting our kitchen back together was incredible. They helped us lay out the new cabinet design, some accessories they thought might be helpful for us, all of that put together. And then we got that photorealistic rendering that helped us pull the thing together. And you may think, oh, what? Okay, it's a photograph. Who cares? Yeah, but it was exactly what our kitchen was going to look like. In fact, we even used the little the model for the backsplash. It's like, that looks really cool, and that's kind of what we did. So it was helpful in so many ways. But they do more than just kitchen cabinetry. They can do pantries. They can also do a workspace for you. Maybe you need something more organized in your closet. Any of that, they can help. CHWCabinetry.com. That's where you can go, or you can call them today at 803-520-6837. Be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation. And looking at those traffic conditions out there this morning, 2 right lanes are blocked, I-20 westbound just after Monticello Road. An accident also being worked on Highway 1 at Jarvis-Clapman. I-20 westbound just before Spears Creek Church Road, so that's about exit 82. Killeen at I-77 still working that tie-up. Longs Pond Road near I-20. And in downtown Columbia, Sumter Street near Wheat Street, getting that cleaned up as well. Looking for a high today of 84. Could see a late afternoon shower or storm. Tomorrow, just mixed clouds and sun. 85 for the high, and maybe some showers returning on Friday. Also, a high of 85, but the sun is out. We're enjoying that. 67 right now in the early game.
.34 here, rolling along. Just about 20 minutes left in this show. We'll be back tomorrow. Josh Harris will join us from Darlington. We'll do our Chop Talk, and we'll talk a little more college football tomorrow as well and get into this a little bit. Yesterday, Brett McMurphy with Action Network. I like Brett, think he's done a good job, and I like the Action Network. I believe that is the one that Brent Musburger has a stake in, if I'm thinking correctly. But they put out a bunch of their win totals for teams across the country. I don't know how to take this. Well, I want to say I don't know how to take it, but this is South Carolina's is 5.5. South Carolina's 5.5. Only two teams have less projected win-loss totals than South Carolina. Mississippi State is at 4.5. Preston Thorne, new coach Jeff Levy coming in there, and Vanderbilt is at 2.5. Now, for the record, Arkansas and Florida both at 5.5 as well.
Well, we had the ceiling and floor conversation. Now we're doing over and unders. From last week with why am I blanking on his name now?
Andy Staples
Andy Staples and his co-host. I forget him.
Cody Belair.
Floor was 4-8. Ceiling was 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
5 is very much just above what the floor was. How do you take it? Takes it as they don't have very much confidence in the team based on what they feel is returning. Doesn't.
Now, this, by the way, again, this is Action Network's total. But, again, the Vegas totals are going to be very similar. It's not like Vegas is going to come out with 7.5, and we would be shocked by this. But this is Action Network who is putting this out there. Let me give you a couple. And I think I'm going to go right to the one that I think will just bother South Carolina fans the most. Missouri at 9.5. Like, you look at Missouri, and it just, you wonder, what is Eli Drinkowitz, who nobody likes, or not here, nobody likes.
Does anybody like him there?
I think they do. When his win total is 9.5. But I think that's one that bothers when you look at Missouri and you're like, what is going on here? Why is that program having success and we are not? What makes them different than us?
I think that's a very fair statement. I don't have an answer to that question, and that's something that, now that you propose it, I feel like we need to do a little bit of a deeper dive, because that's something that should bother us, because there's a group of schools that we should be in line with. Missouri is one of them. And for them,
well,
for people's perceptions,
yes,
for people's perceptions of our programs to be in such varying states does say something about where the programs actually are. Because perceptions follow reality. Whether or not either team reaches those things, why do they think this about us and that about them?
Just to go through the list, Georgia and Texas lead the way. Again, Brett _McMurphy, if you want to check out all of his tweets. But Georgia and Texas lead the way at 10.5. Alabama, LSU, Missouri, Mississippi, and Tennessee are all at 9.5 in that next group. And the Alabama 9.5 one's really interesting there, because
why are we doing that?
If Nick Saban was there, would we be saying 11.5?
Oh, that's an angle I didn't anticipate.
If Nick Saban's there, are you debating whether Bama goes 12-0 or 11-1?
Yeah. So what we're saying that we do? Are we saying that we believe in Kalen DeBoer that much that we assume he's going to get 9? We believe in the talent, the infrastructure. All these things are in place that we just assume that's sort of like their floor is 9. That's really interesting.
Following up on that, for you go from there, Texas A&M, a new coach, Mike Elko, is at 8.5. Auburn in Hugh Freeze, 7.5. Oklahoma at 7.5. And I think that's a really interesting number there, because Brent Venables had that ugly kind of first season. Last year was better. Schedule much more difficult this year. I don't know if he's off of the hot seat.
Yeah, I guess what's the thing about this particular set of numbers is that there's not any explanations as to why they think that. They just throw the number out there and they say, this is what the market, or this is what we're setting the market at for your team. I'd be interested in specifically looking at South Carolina. Why do they think that about this team? Is it the lack of offensive line development? Is it the loss of Spencer Rattler? Is it the changes in the coaching staff? I don't know, but there has to be a couple of reasons why they feel that this team is at 5 wins. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what the pushback from the fan base is. What is the temperature going into this season? I think that is very, very much what we're trying to figure out, because you said we've been quiet all spring, trying to build quietly, stay low and build, I guess. But with that being said, what do people think this program is going to be?
We'll talk more about that tomorrow, obviously, and get in that look around college ball a little bit as well. One other interesting thing that is taking place right now. Keep an eye as we kind of go through the week on this. Members of the ACC congregate are down in Florida this week for their spring meetings. And North Carolina's Board of Trustees decided why not now, the perfect time to audit the athletic department. North Carolina presented to their Board of Trustees a 2024-2025 preliminary budget. Did you see this?
No, you say the word audit and I just get shivers down my back. I mean, nobody wants to be audited. Even if you're doing things 100% by the books, Lord, you do not want that.
So the North Carolina Board of Trustees decided this week, now is the time to do the audit. They ended up getting a budget together. The 2024-2025 academic year right now, the preliminary athletic department budget has a $17 million deficit. And this is kickstarting something with North Carolina now almost going to the point of like, all right, Clemson and Florida State, what are we doing? We are now fully on your side to get out of this thing. Yeah. It quickly went from, we'll let you handle it and see what you do, to we're in, hands raised. One of the Board of Trustee members, Dave Bullock, told the Raleigh TV station, WRAL, that his colleagues on the board have not been given any type of strategy as to how North Carolina's athletic department will handle the monetary problems in the future, especially when conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC will receive more than double the annual revenue compared to those in the ACC, thanks to the massive television deals. Keep an eye on this development with North Carolina now, because what has happened, basically, North Carolina pulled their head from the sand and it's like, we got a money problem here if we want to be competitive in basketball and football and baseball and all these others, and soccer and all these other sports.
Again, that's why I was saying you don't want that. You don't want to be audited, because even if you think you're doing things right, there's going to be leakage. There's going to be things that you can find where if somebody in any business, your business, my business, whoever's business, Cumulus, doesn't matter. If somebody wants to find something, they can find it, just because that's just the nature of how businesses work. But I don't know if they expected to find $17 million. Well,
I think it's funny that like you've had Clemson and Clemson and Florida State like actively like, hey, we have an issue. Somebody. This is another thing. Dave Bullock, again, Board of Trustee member, said we cannot sit back and cross our fingers and pray for pennies from heaven, thinking everything is going to work out. We have to actively pursue what's in the best interest of Carolina athletics. Keep an eye on this. Just watch a little bit closer here. There's a lot of rumors out there about what may be about to transpire. It does feel like as now that North Carolina is involved heavily on this, that now that they're like, oh, wait, there's a deficit. We don't have money. We could be in trouble.
What were y'all talking about over there? Fill us in a little bit more on this. Tell us a little bit more about this conversation you were having.
It's like they're showing up to the ACC spring meetings. Like, Clemson, Florida State, are you aware of this? Have you known about this? We're in trouble.
Yeah.
Clemson and Florida State are like, are you aware we got a lawsuit that we're trying to get done here on this grant of rights?
Actually, we're very aware.
Keep an eye on this now that North Carolina is going to, I think, become more involved in this. And Dave Bullock again says it's imperative that North Carolina do everything they can to join the more lucrative conferences or have the ACC come up with a better financial plan moving forward.
Yeah, what's really fascinating in this, and this is not about accounting or debits and assets, there's no plan in cutting. We just got to get more money. There's no plan to like, hey, maybe we could cut a couple corners, maybe order a little bit less toilet paper, get 1 ply instead of 2 ply.
You don't get 3 sets of uniforms now. Yeah, you're down to 2, blue and white.
They haven't no decisions about cutting. We just need more money.
It's again, I'll tell you, keep a close eye on this as it pertains now to North Carolina jumping in and now trying to be a major player as to getting out of the ACC. We'll come back. We'll wrap everything up in a nice, neat bow. Have you seen the Tiger Woods goatee yet?
I have.
Okay, we'll get your final thoughts on that. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Sheech and Jensen. It's the early game. Bill Gunner from Mid-State Roofing. Today should be pretty nice. Maybe a little rain tonight, but you know what's coming around the corner. We're going to get those hot summer days, and those hot summer days lead to those heavy summer thunderstorms. Some even produce hail. And is your roof ready to handle it? Have you even thought about that? If not, don't worry. Guess who is thinking about Mid-State Roofing? Owner and founder Larry Leitner. They've taken care of the Midlands, of Florence, of Myrtle Beach, the state of South Carolina, the surrounding area. They've done it for nearly 30 years, being the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry, and they are ready to help you. From high-rises to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that keeps your operation dry and running long into the future. And they do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Give them a phone call and learn more. 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. Let them protect that roof with a maintenance contract today. Call Mid-State Roofing. Bill Gunner for the Ecton Law Firm. Are tax troubles weighing you down? Well, if so, don't let the stress of taxes, levies, and liens hold you back any longer. You don't need that. It's summertime. It's time to relax and enjoy life. And local attorney John Ecton and his team at the Ecton Law Firm, they understand that. That's why they're offering a free consultation. If you've received one of these dreaded notices of intent to levy or lien, or you've had business or personal tax issues, the Ecton Law Firm starts with a free consultation. 803-771-9800. They have a local team here in the Midlands, in Florence, and Myrtle Beach. They're ready to help you. So give them a phone call, 803-771-9800. The Ecton Law Firm, they understand the challenges you're facing, and that's why they want to offer you the peace of mind you deserve with proven local solutions. They've helped thousands of families. They're ready to help yours. 803-771-9800. That is the Ecton Law Firm. Wrapping it up here on a Wednesday morning, 8:50. I wasn't going to mention this, but I will, just because you know how podcasts are. People can have podcasts, whatever. Everybody's got a voice. Welcome to 2024. There are rumors out there that Kansas and North Carolina, there's an article that's been out there that suggests Kansas is potentially mulling over options, reportedly mulling over whether to or not to leave the Big 12. There's been rumors of the Big 10 and the SEC going out there and trying to maybe add a team. Reportedly mulling over. Sources indicate, and there's been some podcast on it. Just an FY thing, and now with North Carolina realizing there might be a conference issue. I'm just saying, maybe we start a countdown until more conference realignment.
We never do countdowns.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
So that'd be something new for us.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Count down to two. Count down to two. Bill, you threw out some of my favorite words. Mulling, reports indicate, suggested. But I got a question for you. Would you rather have a credible source or a reliable source? What's higher?
Reliable is in the eye of the beholder.
Okay.
Credible means they tend to know something about what they're talking about.
Okay. Trusted source, is that?
In the eye of the beholder. What are you trusted in? Are you trusted in fixing a good pizza for dinner? Are you trusted in knowing how to grill a steak?
I'm just trying to figure out, how do you rank your sources? You know, are you trusted? Are you credible, reliable, in the know? You know, there's all these different, especially when you start getting to stories about mulling and reports suggesting. You know, I just don't know. I just don't know how do I read this?
There is, we read it right now with everything. Just because again, it mentions the Big Ten. I mean, is the Big Ten just going to snap up everybody? Is that what they're trying to do? Just we'll take all the schools.
There was conversations when the beginning of the conference realignment with this most recent one. And I think we're getting closer towards, there'll be two major conferences. It'll be the SEC, Big Ten, Fox, ESPN/ABC, and that'll sort of where we'll end up at a time. We'll see, though.
It'll be something, again, to monitor. I do think it's a matter now of what the ACC can do to hold on to Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, maybe a few other schools there. Virginia Tech and North Carolina State kind of come to mind. What can the ACC do to hold on to them? And once that barrier is broken, once Clemson or Florida State or now North Carolina figure out what they're doing, I think that's when you see everything shift in a wild way. We'll continue to kind of watch this, and we'll see if we can figure out the ranking of sources, who we trust more when it comes to expansion discussion.
Credible,
trusted, reliable. Anonymous?
Because anonymous is like, either you really trust this person or they're totally lying. There's really no in-between on anonymous. Either they actually really know the truth and they don't want their name associated with it, or they're totally making this up and they don't want. Anonymous is a tricky one.
Good job by the texter here breaking it down. Reliable should mean they've gotten things right in the past. Credible just means they're in a position where they might know something.
There you go.
All right, good job. Good job. Way to get the program. Tiger Woods has got a goatee. You had a chance to check it out this morning. That was part of our discussion.
Thought he looked good.
Yeah, going with that?
Thought he looked good.
Okay.
Apparently the internet has done a lot of deep dives on Tiger Woods' facial hair. One of his best pieces of work. I will say this. He's solid.
Nice.
Thought it looked good. Little gray whiskers coming out there. He looked distinguished.
Okay.
Thought it looks good.
All right. Well, he gets going less than 24 hours from now. Tee time set for 8:05 tomorrow morning for Tiger Woods. Actually, I didn't look to see if that was Central or not, but we will monitor a little bit of the PGA Championship at Valhalla tomorrow. Oh, and what is the game? What is the NFL game now? That'll be our homework. We will each come up with an NFL game.
Come back with a game
that you will watch. What is the game that you will watch? It'll be all our one big connection here on the early game. What is the one NFL game that gets announced tonight that you're like, I am going to watch that game this year?
My slight addendum might be, is there a Thursday night game that I am willing to watch?
Ooh.
I know, because chances are very low.
Ooh. Yeah,
is there a Thursday night game that I might watch?
All right. We will get into all that tomorrow. Again, we'll do some Chop Talk. Braves and Cubs tonight. Some NBA playoffs. If you can, again, take a nap through the Celtics and the Cavs, and then check out the Thunder and the Mavs. That's worth it. 9:30. Just try to avoid the What a Pro Wants commercial.
It'll be there. A lot.
We'll be back tomorrow. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Bill Gunner for Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. There's a lot to celebrate here over the last 2 weeks. A lot of things you're probably counting down to. Graduation, end of school, warmer months. Well, you should celebrate in a clean home by calling the cleaning pros at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Their patented ZR water technology is scientifically proven to clean better than detergents. It won't leave behind a sticky, soapy residue. You can feel comfortable with the kids or with the pets rolling around on the carpet this coming summer. So all you need to do is call right now, 803-262-4020, and line up your cleaning. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Book online, ZerorezColumbia.com, or again, give them a phone call, 803-262-4020. Again, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.